Welcome back to another fun-filled show. I'm your host, T.S. Blanchard, aka Free Blanche, aka Blanstradamus, aka Blanchy Kruger. And today's title is By Design. What's up, y'all? What's up, Quay? What's up, Run Fast? Um, today's title is It's All by Design. Um, I'm pretty sure you all are aware that most of what we see is by design, meaning that someone is controlling it. The Bible talks about we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principality, against the rulers of darkness, against wickedness in high places. And so you got to understand that the interactions that we have as people will pretty much be normal. Most people who have left to their own devices would group themselves off in the groups and they get along, maybe to do trade or business or whatever. But most people would just get along. They'd find a way to have to live around each other. They'd set up rules, parameters, all of these things. What we're seeing is things being done intentionally where they're forcing people to interact. When I say forcing, they're forcing white people to accept the world. That's all globalism is white people not being self-aware enough to have self-preservation. And so even think about the World Cup. Um, even the World Cup is globalism. You know, even the Cup is global. You see all these teams, all these Western countries, and most of the players on the teams, a lot of them are not white. Now you're gonna say, well, Blanche, what's wrong with that? And I'm telling you that Ireland needs to be white, just like Zimbabwe needs to be black. What are we talking about? Like France needs to be white. Cambodia needs to be Asian. I mean, like this, like why would you think about traveling to a country that has the history and culture of the people that have been there thousands of years, but when you get there, it's every other nationality there. It's ridiculous. And this is only happening in white countries, but it's by design. All globalism is, it is war against Western culture and what we call white people. That's all globalism is. Because what it's saying is that we need to open up every border. And when they say open borders up, they're talking about into white countries. All of this stuff is about white. All of it. Combat Medic said that soccer will be the sport of the New World Order. I believe I can see it. You have a team that's, let's say, Finland or something, and you look at the team and you like the majority of the team is not white. Well, what's going, like, again, people, they've already conditioned people to think that if it's white, it's bad. So the entire planet is going to accept globalism. I'm just telling you what's going to happen. They're going to accept it because they're going to believe that white people have been oppressing the world, when in actuality, it's not true. I dare you all to just search in Google one day. Google who actually owns all this stuff. Just Google it. Just go company by company by company and just Google and see who actually owns it. And you tell me how many conservative, how many Christian, conservative, Republican, white people own companies. What do they control? Now, the patriotic white person is global enemy number one. But if you go to the tail of the tape, most of the companies are not owned by any conservative whites. They're owned by liberal whites and liberal Jews. That's who owns all the companies. But they got you hating a group of people that don't control anything. What do white conservatives control? Absolutely nothing. You can't even say politics anymore. You can't even say politics anymore. So what? So they got the patriotic white person is public enemy number one. They don't control anything, but yet we got to get rid of them. Melinda said Walmart. I don't know, man. Walmart CEO? I don't know. This new guy's name is John Ferner. So y'all telling me that John Ferner is a conservative? I don't know, y'all. I'm looking him up right now. Oh no, he retired. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, he had the rags to riches story. I gotta see his political beliefs because I don't really see him on here. After working as Sam Club's chief merchandising officer, and prior to that, spending nearly 3 years in Walmart's international division as the EVP of merchandising and marketing for Walmart China. I don't know, man. I don't know. The Wall Street Journal reported that sales increased during his time as CEO based on his experience at Walmart China. Ferner focused on increasing the use of technology in Sam's Club warehouses and narrowing its targeted customer. Ferner also focused on increasing Sam's Club's private brand business. I don't know, man. I got to hear Ferner talk, man. I got to hear him talk. But he could be. So before I jump really, head first into this, I want to talk about Pastor Manning real quick. And I'm going to just play this clip of Pastor Manning, and I'm going to, we're going to dive into this. We're going to dive into it. My thoughts on the clip.
Out of here, bro. I invite you. Come on, man. You laughing about it?
I'm going.
We're going to take that building.
Yep. Going to make it into a home for LGBTQ youth.
You'll have a pussy before you do. Made in the image and likeness of Almighty God, and the word of God cannot be defied. And not one jot or one tittle of the laws that Moses said, Jesus said, shall not pass away.
You came with this man. Did any of that make sense to you?
Everything he says, I agree.
What did he just say? And you don't know.
He abuses kids that disobey him.
I'm just trying to understand.
Don't make those accusations. Whoa. Don't make those accusations.
They're written up in newspaper articles.
Dislike me.
They're written up in newspaper articles that young men from your church claim that you abuse them.
If that was true, if that was true, if that was true, I would have been accused. I've been accused of a whole lot of other stuff too, by the way.
What else?
Well, I've been accused of trying to have
sexually
sex with
harassing a young woman in his church.
Trying to have sex with a young girl. Yeah, it wasn't illegal. It wasn't child, if you will, molestation, anything like that.
How old was the kid?
21.
And she said you approached her.
Well, she didn't say it. She had it on tape and she gave it to an idiot, and he said it.
So there's evidence of you trying to have sex with this 21-year-old woman who worked for you?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Doesn't look like she was 21.
That's adultery too, by the way.
How does it make you feel? Because you're smirking. And I find it problematic. I got 2
I'm not
daughters.
smirking. I'm not smirking because I'm proud of it. It was very painful for my wife, very painful for the church.
How old were you when she was 21?
I don't know. It was probably in my 60s, maybe.
And that
Nah, this nigga gotta go. I can't.
That's what I'm saying.
You smiling about sexually harassing girls.
Well, you want this your show? You want me to go? You want me to leave?
Yeah, please, bro. Get the microphone. That shit is wild. And you locking kids in the basement? Get out of here, bro. I invite you. Come on, man. You laughing about it?
I'm going.
We're gonna take that building.
Yep. Gonna make it into a home for LGBTQ youth.
You'll have a pussy before you do.
Okay, so the Bible talks about don't let your good deeds be, evil spoken of. So don't let the good you do be spoken of as bad because you're doing bad things. Now, Pastor Manning actually brought up what they were about to accuse him of. So let me just put this in context. He did something wrong years ago, right? He did something wrong years ago. What do you want him to do now? Now, the reason why I don't like what they're doing is because Hawk Newsom is literally a communist, but he's trying to take the moral high ground with Pastor Manning. Think about what they're doing. He's sitting next to 2 flamethrowers, and they're trying to condemn Pastor Manning. And pay attention to what the flamethrowers said. They said we're going to turn that building into an LGBTQ center for youth. Keep in mind, this is Hawk Newsom, Mr. Pro-Black, but he's sitting on the stage with 2 LGBTQs. I told you all that you're not going to be able to be pro-Black and not be pro-gay and trans. I told y'all this. You're not going to be able to move and do anything unless they are included. So whatever pro-Black movement you have, it has to be coupled with the LGBTQ movement. But this is by design because Black people are going to usher in the Antichrist. And I believe the Antichrist is going to be transgender. But let's get back to Pastor Manning. So Pastor Manning did something wrong. I'm sure he asked for forgiveness. They said he was smirking. They want to be like they're holier than thou. But again, the context of what they're doing is wrong. And it's wrong because of the intent. The intent is they don't want him to be mayor of New York. Now, whatever he's running for, I don't know. He's running for something. I think it's mayor. I don't know. Let me make sure. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I think he's running for mayor, though. Yeah, he's running for mayor. So Pastor Manning is running for mayor. Or maybe he ran for mayor. I'm sorry. Maybe he ran for mayor. Whatever the reason is, whatever it is, they're trying to discredit him based on something that he did that was wrong in the past. This is why I don't respect liberals, because they do things wrong all the time. All the time. So being wrong, him doing something wrong clearly can't be the standard. They want to condemn him because of his beliefs, not because he tried to get with a young girl. They want to condemn, well, she's 21, a grown woman, not because he wanted to get with a grown woman. They're trying to condemn him because of his beliefs. That's the issue I have with it. Is Pastor Manning wrong? Yes, he's wrong for what he did. Am I going to hold it over his head? No. It was years ago. What you want him to do? He admitted it. He said, I did it. He said it is also adultery. Not only was I wrong for doing that, it's also adultery, and it messed up my congregation because they got scrutinized for following him. So he talked about it, but I think he's laughing because he sees the game they're playing. Y'all are only bringing this up because you disagree with my views. You don't care about the young lady. You care about his views. You care about the fact that he says that the man should be in charge in the house, that all these flamethrowers shouldn't be to burn up the city like Johnny Blaze. That's what y'all are against. You're against his rhetoric. You don't care about the young lady. Clearly you don't. Because as much stuff as y'all do, clearly a moral argument is not what y'all care about. You want to discredit the messenger. And most black people are so low vibrational, they can't even see the nuance in any of this stuff. All they see is Pastor Manning try to get with a young woman. That's all they see. I always go to the intent. Black Guy 9 said, Raphael Warnock preaching on Saturday about including the alphabet community. I already know. Because what y'all don't realize is that to be black is to be everything worldly. That's what being black is. That's why when you ask somebody what's being black, you get a different answer with each person because being black is everything worldly. It's everything worldly. So make no mistake about it. The largest black organization in history was Black Lives Matter Global Network. And that was led by some communist lesbians. Barack Hussein Obama, Barry Soetoro was president of the United States, and it's rumored and believed that he was a homosexual. So we got the largest organization led by 3 lesbians, Black Lives Matter Global Network. We got the president of the United States believed to be a homosexual. Not to mention these black mega pastors. Not to mention Malachi York and the New Nuwabians. Not to mention all of these people, all of these black folks that lead the black community that are immoral. Elijah Muhammad is celebrated. Elijah Muhammad was literally impregnating little girls, and they love him. You want to convince me that you mad at Pastor Manning, but you praise Elijah Muhammad? What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Elijah Muhammad gets revered. Pastor Manning gets condemned. Elijah Muhammad was impregnating young girls. Pastor Manning tried to holler at a woman. He gets condemned. Elijah Muhammad gets celebrated. So again, they don't care about the young lady. They care about his message. You got to be able to see the forest through the trees. You got to be able to see the forest through the trees. Did you know that John Ossoff is Jewish? Yes, I did. Of course. Him and Warnock. Isn't it so fitting? MLK. Like, again, think about how immoral black leadership is. Just think about how immoral black leadership is, and then think about them giving Pastor Manning a standard. You can't name nowhere in black history where black folks use a standard. They only bring up standards to folks that talk about family and Christ and all that stuff. So they'll hold, what's his name? They'll hold Dr. Ben Carson accountable, but they won't hold George Floyd accountable. They'll hold Pastor Manning accountable, but they won't hold Jay-Z accountable. So Pastor Manning was wrong for what he did. If he asked for forgiveness, then God forgave him. What you want us to do? Condemn the man for something he did 15 years ago? However many years ago it was. He's born in 1947. He said he was in his 60s. again, people, especially black people, you all are going to have to start conditioning yourself to stop being emotional, because you being emotional is going to have you end up in a concentration camp. You're emotional about what I say. You're emotional about what somebody else is saying. You're too emotional. And you're going to end up in a concentration camp. I'm just telling you. Y'all are too emotional and too emotionally unintelligent. This is most black people. Too emotional. Can't see the forest through the trees. Too emotional. You're going to end up in a camp. This world is moving with AI and robots. Nobody's going to care about your race, dummy. They're focusing on data centers, dummy, not race. They're focusing on AI, robotics, technology, not your skin color. You're going to end up in a camp and you're going to be singing old Negro spirituals in the camp, in the concentration camp. But they won't have whips. They're going to have them shockers. Matter of fact, they may have a collar around y'all neck. They can just press a button. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Obama gave the last dagger in the heart of the United States of America, which of course was him signing our country onto Agenda 2030 in 2015, a nation-state ending plan of global governance, ending all borders, all nations, all national governments for a global governance model run by a global public infrastructure that is already built, that you are hearing about today. It was built by the same men that are now trillionaires and running the stock market. Trillions of dollars have gone into it, and the whole plan was thwarted when Donald Trump won. And I will tell you, the takedown of Donald Trump is not about Donald Trump, but we got to go back and be honest about our country and what happened to it in 1953 when the Dulles brothers took it over, because it's been a managed decline, and Barack Obama signed off on it, and I believe Hillary Clinton was supposed to kick off World War III, and the solution to World War III was going to be Agenda 2030. And it's not going to be now, but we got to make sure that we
You're right, Mika. Mika said no collars. They took care of that through the vaccine. Exactly. So yeah, that's right. So no, so now when they press the button, it's already inside. It's gonna make you shut down. That's all.
fully understand what is going on in Ukraine, what is going on in Israel, and what is going on in the United States of America.
It's a book called Infiltration Invasion. So what she's talking about is a global agenda, Agenda 2030, where we have this one group, one world government with no borders. And I know this stuff is hard for you all to conceptualize, but I'm telling you now, everything you've been taught has been a lie. It's not true. All it is programming and propaganda. What these people want is a global citizen. If you have 8 billion people, how are you going to keep track of 8 billion people? You have to put them in some kind of database, and you have to link them physically to the data. Remember back in 2021, Bill Gates was funding a company that was working on tying your digital currency to your biometrics. That way, only you can spend the money. They're talking about tying your biometrics, your actual physical makeup, to your money. That way, you can't transfer wealth. Nobody can give you. It's crazy. And y'all are talking about race. Bill Gates talking about blocking out the sun, and y'all are talking about race. Do you think it's about race if the man wants to block the sun out? Charles said Jews and Muslims being enemies is a lie. Jewish organizations are transporting Muslims to all Western countries. It's true. We saw this during Biden's administration when there were people south of the border all over the world and they had maps. Who is funding millions of people to travel to the American southern borders? Who's doing it? Who's paying for it? Anytime these people tell you that somebody's in, anytime the TV, listen, y'all, if the TV is saying it, it's a lie. I hate to be the bit. If the TV is telling you that this is this and this is this, it's a lie. It's not true. Who is funding, who is and who was funding all these illegal immigrants to come into America? People showing up from China at the southern border with a map. Who paid for it? Who organized it? Who coordinated it? Who? You got a bunch of people from other countries around the world at the southern border, and nobody is questioning how they got there. They're flying these people on planes, and nobody's questioning how they got there. So the reason why they're not questioning is because of who's doing it. If it was, this was funny, right? If it was conservative white people doing it, they would tell you. Think about it. If it was think about, okay, give you a prime example. Think about Donald Trump. Anything Donald Trump does, they make sure to tell you. If Donald Trump sneezes, they're going to say, oh, he's getting sick. If he's walking slow, oh, he's getting old. Whatever Donald Trump does, they're going to tell you. But when Joe Biden was in office, they told you nothing. So we know that the people that are in control of this stuff aren't white conservatives. We know this because if they were, they just tell you it's them. It's them. Janan TV said BBC had a special in 2014 that all illegals coming through Greece and Turkey, they put them in a camp and take all their biometrics. Yeah, it's listen, man, it's part of globalism. And they don't even realize it, that all this mass migration to these different countries is just the first step to globalism. Because the white population is so small globally, you can literally outnumber white people in their own countries. That's what they're trying to do. Just outnumber whites in their own country. That's all they want. It's a numbers game. Combat Medic said a Jewish NGO is trying to fill Japan with Africans. Yeah, because Japan is too close to white. The Japanese are too close to Western. They're really probably a more extreme than the West. Honest, if I can be honest, they might even be more extreme than the West. Anything that's holding up morals and values, they want to get rid of it. Combat Medic said Islam is not a religion, it's a political ideology. It is. It is because every Muslim I talk to sound like a victim, sound like obligatory. Sounds like obligatory.
Every American should know. I'm going to remind y'all of a horrifying experiment done in the 1960s called Universe 25.
Thank you, baby, for life. The Japanese are white adjacent. Thank you. That's what they are. They are white adjacent. Yes. Got to get rid of them too.
Of things every American should know. I'm going to remind y'all of a horrifying experiment done in the 1960s called Universe 25. This was done by a man named John Calhoun, and he wanted to know what would happen if he gave a civilization everything they could ever need. So he started with 8 mice. Think Noah's Ark. 4 male, 4 female, and he created a mouse utopia for them. Unlimited food, unlimited water, no predators, all the medical care they could ever need, all the nesting boxes, perfect temperature, perfect. They didn't have to work for anything. Now, at first, everything was quote unquote normal. The mice paired off, the males were defending and protecting their territory and their families, and the females reproduced and cared for their young. Now, unfortunately, this did not last long. Calhoun started to notice some very interesting behavior from the mice, and it started when the family unit started to deteriorate. The first things he noticed were the male mice. They started to lose all interest in protecting and defending their families and their territory. Some became ultra aggressive, while others completely drew away from society altogether. And then you have the female mice. They lost all interest in caring for their young, and some even started to kill their young or even eat them. Then the super interesting phenomenon happened where a group of male mice, later deemed as the beautiful ones in this experiment, started becoming so ultra obsessed with themselves. All they would do was groom, eat, sleep. Groom, eat, sleep. And interestingly enough, these males started to only have interest with aggressively mating with other males.
So there's an experiment done, and it was with mice. And the guy that did it, I'll get his name in the end because I missed it in the beginning. But he basically gave the mice everything they wanted. He basically created a utopia for mice. And then she's talking about what happened when he created a utopia. You remember in the Matrix, when the architect said they created a utopia, but the human beings rejected it. So the mice, when you create a utopia for the mice, their form of rebellion is this, where the men don't want the women eat the young. This is what we see in society today because it's so good and we have it so easy. This is what's actually happening. The Bible even talks about men becoming lovers of themselves. I think it's a scripture. 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 2 through 4. For men shall become lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure, more than lovers of God. So we can see how this will happen in the end times because we're talking about, nobody being able to have a job because AI and robots are doing everything. So if people aren't working, what are they going to do? They're going to do what these mice are doing. They're not going to have any purpose. See, the problem with the mice, what we're seeing is that the mice lost their purpose. The purpose of the mice is to survive and extend the next generation. But once you provide everything, there's no incentive to try to survive. So that the mind becomes idle, and we know that an idle mind is the devil's playground. Mr. 850 said, we've been living in a matrix. Most people just don't realize it due to all the distractions. I tell people this all the time. What you all see going on now has always been going on. Think about it. Harriet Tubman was fake. Nat Turner was fake. They've been running psyops. Think about the Civil War. Think about all of it. They've been the Great Depression. They have been running psyops. A black man started slavery in the United States. They've been running psyops. This has been going on. That's why I try to tell people that if it's been going on since as long as you can remember, at least since you've been alive, how much more prepared should you be? If these people have a 500-year head start on you, or a 1,000-year head start, or a 3,000-year head start, then my question is, how much more prepared should you be? Corey said it's human impulse to create utopia post-fall, we just try to recreate the garden, all without God, of course. Then God has to interfere. Nothing new under the sun. Scrapping Beauty says, when you're given everything, you have nothing to work for. Let's continue.
So we have females killing their youngs, and we have males on males. Anyway, I digress. Let's get back to the story. So eventually they all go extinct because the birth rate is non-existent. They either have absolutely no interest or it is male on male. So you get the point. The last mouse actually dies in 1973 and the colony is completely gone. Now, please keep in mind, again, the entirety of this experiment, these mice had everything they could need. Complete handout, food, water, protection, nesting boxes, all of it. But yet they still went extinct. And I wonder if it's because they had no purpose.
And this is where we go back to what Corey just said. It's human impulse to create a utopia. I would say this. It is a sinful human impulse to create a utopia. If you have any kind of God in you, any kind of understanding, you know that that's going to be bad. Because you know that if you actually run things the right way, you're not going to have a utopia. If you live by God's word, you're not going to have a utopia. It's going to be a constant battle and fight because you're going to be fighting against that said human nature. So the people that want to create utopias are always evil people. Socialists, communists, Marxists, globalists, that like all these folks claiming to create a utopia are all the bad guys. Combat Medic said that God placed Adam in the garden so he had to work. Yeah, because if a man don't work, he don't eat. But also, man can't even live by bread alone. Think about this now. Think about the Bible saying that if a man don't work, he can't eat, and then saying a man cannot live by bread alone. You see how that's a two-tiered existence? You got to work to eat, but you can't live off bread alone. So just when you think you done scratched and scrounged and stacked to make it, God's like, you can't live off that alone. Got to come to this word. This is how you know when God does something, it's done to completion. When the world does it, a lot of holes in it.
I wonder, when you give a civilization everything they could need with no work required, if it actually goes against all the laws of nature. God himself said, it is by the sweat of your brow that you are to eat. And I fear that many in this country have blurred the lines of the government owes me everything and all of my needs versus a government that protects and cultivates an environment that I can work and provide needs for myself. America needs a reminder that when we replace purpose for comfort, when we replace entitlement for responsibility, and we are encouraged to consume more than we are to contribute, societies never flourish.
Corey said, work hard enough to satisfy the day, but leave a little work for God and faith. Amen. And again, people, you know that even if you were a coach of a team, like you know, you got to put your players through the fire to prepare them for a championship. So when you see a team win a championship, they won the championship first day of training camp. That's why I want to get in people's minds. They won a championship the first day of training camp because that mindset had to be cultivated then so that you can win at the end of the year. You're not going to adopt an attitude of winning mid-season. It's not how that works. That's not how that works. So if we're talking about being prepared during these times, you got to be prepared yesterday. You got to have this mindset yesterday because you're not going to get it tomorrow. Everybody thinks when everything happens, I'm going to be ready. No, you're not. What do you say in the church? he's coming like a thief in the night. There's a reason why that was said. A thief in the night is you sleep. You're unprepared. You're either doing something wrong or you're asleep. You are unaware. He's coming like a thief in the night. That means when Christ comes, most people are not going to be ready. The vast majority of people are not. Matter of fact, most folks gonna get caught with their pants down. Most folks gonna get caught doing something wrong. Well, that's the new era. Everybody gets a trophy. That's satanic.
You know how when they be describing the weather up ahead and they say we're going to have severe thunderstorms, high winds, or if a motherfucker get an injury, oh, he had a severe ankle sprain, knee sprain. It's the same thing with this money, man. It's a severe pressure on this money. Like everybody talking about Floyd. Shit, Floyd is a microcosm of the economy, homie. If you're not real careful with your money, you will be fucked up out here. That's why you see, even like with Trump and them, all the old timers, they constantly working. Cause you constantly got to generate some fucking money out here. Or the little coins you got shall be dwindled away, homie. You gotta work. And you can't be out here trying to play single and mingle, going to these fucking bars and these restaurants, treating people you don't know to something to eat, something to drink, trying to play Big Willie. Because before it's all said and done, you'll be fucked up out here, homie. It's easy to be fucked up. It's easy to go bankrupt. Man, I just left from down there, Northern Liberties. Man, the whiteboard says 7 of us living in a 2-bedroom apartment. They got motherfucking cots and they trying to hold on. But they paying, I think, $300-400 each to pay the rent so they can save some money up and move out. And I said, listen to what you saying, homie. In 2026, that's why they trying to push in that rate reform, so they can't raise the rent on the motherfucking apartments that these people living in. You can't really afford to fuck with nobody that ain't got their shit together. And even these adults that got grown kids, teenage kids, this shit has to be like it was back in the day. Dog, back in the 60s, we were 6 and 7 years old working, homie. You was going over to Jersey to pick some fucking fruit. If you didn't work, you didn't eat, sir. On everything. Everybody in the house had to get up early and get out and go find some fucking employment. And when I say it was nothing in the house to eat, nothing. And it's reverting back to that. When they motherfucker discontinue that Section 8 and welfare, and they gonna make you go to a food distribution center within your zip code to get your food, it's gonna be a different ball game, homie. That's when all the poppy stores and all of them gonna go out of business because they not gonna be able to afford to stay open when they not getting that money from the state. All this shit is state government subsidized. Subsidized housing, subsidized medical, subsidized food. So when they get that shit and flatline that shit and say, man, we no longer distribute that shit like that, and you got to go to distribution centers for your medical, you damn near living in a projects or open fucking, almost like you in a county jail, it's going to be a different ball game, homie. And that's the direction this shit going in. That's why Trump said, man, we gonna have to allow everybody to bear arms. Because a lot of these realtors, a lot of these investors that got property, they're gonna lose their properties, homie. they won't be able to rent them properties out because nobody won't be able to afford them.
And see, that's the whole thing. You think about it. Think about what he's saying. And this guy is Big Reed. But think about what he's saying, though. It's a little gnat in here, man. I'm going to get you too. Anyway, think about what he's saying, though. If they're telling you the AI is going to take everybody's job, where are they going to generate the money from? If the taxpayer dollar is so important, then why would they, if the taxpayer dollar is so important, why would they be welcoming in AI? So what they're telling you openly is we're going to control the means of production with AI. We're going to control it. Because if a company has all AI and robots, they're still going to have government subsidies, but where's the money going to come from? So maybe on your universal basic income check, you're going to see AI, on there, robot, like they're going, you know what I'm saying? Like, where is the money coming from if nobody's working? This should let you know that it's all a setup. Just like climate change. If climate change was real, they wouldn't be selling beachfront property. Or beachfront property would be cheap. Or it would be extremely expensive to get the insurance because climate change would destroy it. I don't know. Whatever. They wouldn't be selling it. Too much of a liability, too much of a risk. But the same with this AI stuff. You mean to tell me nobody's going to have a job? Everything's going to function as normal? You're going to pay people to live? You're going to just give folks money just to live? Like, we know it's not true. They're not going to pay to take care of you. They're not going to do it. We saw this during COVID. I was in California. I was going there a lot during COVID. And like, you would go to like, say, a shopping plaza. All the stores had lines around the building because they were only letting a certain amount of folks in at a time because of the Peter pandemic. But I thought about post-apocalyptic world where all the lines are long, first of all, because ain't nobody inside to really work. Ain't nobody inside to really work. And they have to go there to get food because nobody owns their own food or whatever they were trying to get. Combat Medic said money don't mean anything to them. They don't need money. They want control. And that, agreed. That's why the worst thing people were saying during COVID was they doing this for money. I said, people don't care about you. You think Bill Gates cares about money? You think Elon Musk cares about? They don't care about money. Elon Musk got his start. There was a company that he had. It was worth nothing. He sells that company for $300 million. It's all set up. It ain't real. This stuff is all staged. It's fake. They telling you, get out there, put your best foot forward, do this, grind to the. That's what they telling you. That ain't how they made it though. Mr. 850 said people with money know it's a tool. It's true. People with money don't have an emotional attachment to money. Broke people have emotional attachment to money. Broke people cry over money, take pictures with money up to their ear, put on their arm like this, throw money in the strip. That's broke people stuff. Broke people have emotional attachment to money. Folks with money don't treat money like that. It's literally, like he said, a tool. That money is coming in and going out.
So they're going to have to sell, homie. And they're going to raise all these motherfucking apartment buildings. And it's going to be fucking flat land, and they're going to put them dumbass apartments there. almost like subsidized housing. The writing is on the wall, homie. How you gonna let your kids come and go as they please, feed them, and they don't go buy groceries once a month, if nothing else? Think about it, homie. Everybody must earn their keep. There will be no gifts to give out, homie. You ain't gonna lay around and do nothing. Bitch, you ain't gonna lay on your back and open them pissy, stinky legs and let a nigga nut up in you and then double back, take him to child support court and think the state is gonna take care of you and your baby. They gonna take your baby, almost like put him in an orphanage, and they damn near gonna put you in a concentration camp, bitch.
Listen, he in this video, I know it's excuse the language, but he in this thing spitting. Estimated student said that's NIGGA behavior, not broke. That's Negro behavior. He said, I've been broke, I didn't do that. Well, okay, it is behavior of the bliggities. You are right. What it is. Negro behavior. But you heard what Big Reed said. You can try to get child support. Your child going to the concentration camp for kids, i.e. laboratory, and you going to the one for the adults, i.e. you gonna work and do something. Scrapping Beauty said they will sell your kids to gay people. Possibly. Folks will be signing. I envision people signing their rights over to their children for money. That's how bad it's going to be. People will sign the rights of their children over to somebody for money. And they're going to have it all. They're going to have it look so nice. Do you want your child to have a nice home? Do you want your child to be able to go to the best schools and have the best home life? Do you want your child to grow up in a loving environment with people that care about them? Do you want your child to be involved in enriching activities? Don't you want your child to have the chance you never got? We're here to help. And we'll be able to compensate you while you in turn give your child a better life. You think folks ain't gonna do it? You think folks ain't gonna do it?
That's the direction this shit going in, homie. Tomorrow came yesterday. This shit is going to be a repeat of what it used to be. You ain't got to believe me. Just pay attention to your life, homie. Pay attention.
JV Chanel said black people will fraudulently put their kid's name on the electric bill. Of course they would do it. Melinda said it already exists. Foster care.
Attention to your life. This is what they do, man. You can't, man. It's damn near impossible to go out for a young nigga to be meeting these bitches and treating them to something to eat and doing all this shit to try to razzle dazzle a bitch out of that pussy. It's going to be hard to do because every coin must be accounted for. And God forbid if you got some type of drug addiction or gambling addiction, point seen, money lost. It costs to be the boss. This shit costs. Look, I rode past here the other night, this bar right here, and by the time I got a couple blocks away, I heard pop, pop, pop. The next day on the news, 4 shot, 2 people dead. That's why I say we gone, man. We gone. This is a crazy, fucked up environment. So you got to be careful. Because at the end of the day, one false move and you will be in bankruptcy. One false move, you be living in an apartment with 8 other niggas trying to figure out how you got there. Because you ain't had no relationship with your mom. No relationship with your dad. You thought you had this dimension figured out. You know what, man? Y'all stay on point. Learn how to be cordial. Learn how to talk to people. Be cooperative. Because everybody needs somebody. And like I say, the only thing worse than being by yourself is wanting to be by yourself.
He said the only thing worse than being by yourself is wanting to be by yourself. How y'all feel about that last statement? How do y'all feel about that last statement? The only thing worse than being by yourself is wanting to be by yourself.
It's a pipeline here. The politicians bring in migrants, and they bring in migrants who are the most ethnically, racially, and culturally different to us. They're not bringing in, high IQ Swedish families. They're not bringing in Germans or Italians who are very, very similar to us, who have similar sensibilities. They have a similar religion. They have similar traditions. And they're going to fit in. They're bringing in people from places like Somalia, Sudan, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, people who are extremely different to us, not just in the way they look, but in the way they think and in their moral code.
So he's talking about not only are they doing mass migration, but they're mass immigrating people that are different completely, look different, act different, nothing is the same, nothing. But they do this to create a cultural clash. So there's no such thing as cultures coexisting. There has to be a dominant culture. So most, places, people just separate because they have different cultures. But wanting to have a culture within a culture is not going to work. It's going to be a clash because most oftentimes, if it's not Western culture, it's going to be bad. Even the Jews culturally is different from Western culture. They're able to hide within Western culture because Western culture is more tolerant. But even the Jews culture is different than Western culture. It is. They're just living in Western culture. So really, it's the entire planet going against Western culture, also known as white people. And so this is what it's an act of war. It's literally an act of war. And most folks can't see it because they're conditioned to believe that white people aren't fazed by anything. So I have grown people telling me that all white people got money. Like, listen, that most black folks believe that white people live, just all of them live a great life. They don't believe white people have bills and struggle, none of that. They don't believe it. Let's continue.
The economy's not bad, they just made the dollar worth less. They literally print money out of thin air. There's no checks and balances. If they wanted the prices of things to be lower, they'd make it lower. They want it expensive. It is the plan.
Why do y'all always add some music? Just talk without Soundgarden. This is a great song by Soundgarden, Like a Stone.
It's not by accident. It's not a bad economy. It's not this decision or that guy. They wanted the dollar worth less. They wanted you to work more for less. That's why they did it. Everything else is a smoke and mirrors show. It is solely intentional. There's nothing accidental about it. This was the plan. They want you in a survival frequency all the time. You can never rebel if you're needing to survive. They have you in the base level survival instincts all of the time. Fight or flight. It's intentional. Completely.
We all have how long to be. Great song, but this guy Andre the Alchemist basically just told you that they want everything expensive. He said they want you in survival mode. They want you desperate because they know if you're desperate, you're going to talk to Satan. God is moved by faith. The devil's moved by desperation. So if you're desperate, you're going to go to the devil. I'll wait for you there like a stone. My bad. Right. Audio Slave. So I think the lead singer had left Soundgarden. What's the guy's name? Chris something? What's the lead singer's name? Is it Chris? Yeah, Chris. Chris Cornell. I think he got voted one of the top vocalists, rock vocalists of all time. I don't know what his rank was. You know. Yeah, Chris Cornell. But listen, y'all, I studied music in college. Listen, man, I listen to everything. You think they killed him? Alethea said, like what the serpent said to Eve, you will be like God. This is Satan's endless plan to dethrone God and put himself on the throne. Y'all do realize that the devil knows that you all have a chance to go be with God forever. So just to let you know, he's never going to stop. That's why you need to examine everything that you're being fed, because I'm telling you, at the top of that pyramid is the devil. No, Kenny Loggins is. No, Kenny Loggins is soulful. Listen, he is. He's soulful like. Listen, man, we got Michael McDonald. You know, I love Hall and Oates. Even Phil Collins is soulful, man. Listen, we can go on and on. Steely Dan, come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, y'all. Fleetwood Mac. Come on, y'all. Listen, man. Come on, y'all. We can go Tears for Fears. Come on, man. Listen, we can go down. Come on. Y'all don't get me started, y'all. Don't get me started, y'all. Don't get me started, man. Simply Red, don't get me started, man. Don't get me started, please. Please don't get me started. I may just do one more video here. Let me think. May want to play maybe this one right here. So you asked a
all USAID the whole time. I mean, is it that outrageous to think that maybe USAID was also trying in America to promote like Black music?
Boss Skaggs, listen, man. That Dirty Low Down. His album's pretty good though. Listen, man, y'all I'm trying to get listen. Talk about music all day long.
It was all USAID the whole time. I mean, is it that outrageous to think that maybe USAID was also trying in America to promote like Black musicians' body positivity through music? I don't think that that's crazy. And actually, people were mentioning a while ago, was the first time in literally at least a decade where there were no rap songs or rap albums, whatever it was, charting in the Billboard 200 or whatever it was. Is this even a conspiracy anymore? Or can we all admit this is probably exactly what happened? I do think that USAID, amongst other probable like NGOs, were astroturfing rap music, hip hop, artists like Lizzo into the music industry and our airwaves in order to mainstream hip hop culture. I think degeneracy as well. I don't think it was organic.
Well, no, it wasn't organic. And okay, so when it comes to this is the problem with Lizzo. Lizzo is a pop artist, right? But she's culturally Black. She's a pop artist, but she's culturally Black. Most of her fans are not Black people. Black folks don't buy her music because she's a pop artist. Now, most pop artists are more iconic, meaning they have a certain look. You've never seen an overweight, obese pop artist. Who? There aren't any. So Lizzo, her lane is pop music, but her culture and appearance and presentation is hip hop and Black. So it's very difficult to market her. Now I listen to some of Lizzo, her music, she makes good music, but it's pop music though. I judge people off of their genre of music. So Michael Jackson is a pop artist. So I grade him on pop music. If somebody was R&B, I'm gonna grade him as an R&B artist. But there are different genres of music and there are different artists in those genres. Lizzo's problem is she's an overweight pop artist. Nobody's going to buy it. Nobody's going to buy it. And she presents Black urban. What pop artist presents Black urban? None. J.V. Chanel said Starbucks music. So again, what she's saying about Lizzo, it makes sense because Lizzo's fans of her music were probably middle-aged or young white women. If I can just think of on top of my head, probably that's her demographic is white women because a lot of her songs are good for working out, like workout songs you can, like just songs you can play, with the kids, but that's her genre. Her genre is pop, but they present her as urban and Black. So yeah, they have to do all this for Lizzo because organically she wouldn't sell because she's a contradiction. Most pop artists that are successful are global phenomenons. They're global. They're not, largely just based in New York, repping Detroit. I mean, largely based in the US, repping Detroit. So that's what Lizzo's problem is, her genre versus how she presents. That's her problem. And so because they wanted her to be woke and they wanted her to be a strong Black woman, they said, okay, keep the Black image. We'll take care of the rest. We'll take care of the marketing. Notice that Black people like Lizzo because she was fat and Black. Other folks like Lizzo because of her music. Global on Lizzo is her belly. This is true. Well, Lizzo, that's the thing, right? She sings, she rap, like it's so again, like I say, it's pop music. So it's like it's poppy, bubblegummy. She plays the flute. Like Lizzo was really probably grew up around with a lot of white people. If I can just be honest, she probably grew up around a lot of white people, performing art school, just because her music doesn't match how she is. It just doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Like I can tell that they kind of manufactured her image to present her to be this woke black queen. And I think I'll just but over here she's talking about let me play it again.
It was all USAID the whole time. I mean, is it that outrageous to think that maybe USAID was also trying in America to promote like black musicians' body positivity through music? I don't think that that's crazy. And actually, people were mentioning a while ago, was the first time in literally at least a decade where there were no rap songs or rap albums, whatever it was, charting in the Billboard 200 or whatever it was. Is this even a conspiracy anymore? Or can we all admit this is probably exactly what happened?
If I took Lizzo, her music, and I gave that music to an actual pop artist person, forget the race, just a person that was pop, not really confined to a culture like black or whatever, it'd be a megastar. Would be a megastar. The problem with Lizzo is how she presents and her size. There's no such thing as a fat, obese pop artist. It doesn't exist. So again, they had to do this manufacturing because what she should have did was like what Milli Vanilli did. The people that was behind Milli Vanilli, they actually with the vocals, they look like an old school gospel group. So they knew they couldn't sell that, so they used Milli Vanilli to sell the pop music because the image matched. They were young, good looking, in shape, could dance, perfect to sell the music. That's what she did with Lizzo. Had somebody else present the music.
Do you think that USAID, amongst other probable like NGOs, were astroturfing rap music, hip hop, artists like Lizzo into the music industry and our airwaves in order to mainstream hip hop culture? I think degeneracy as well. I don't think it was organic. I don't think it was organic. It
wasn't organic. And again, they're going to use black people, I'm gonna say this again, to usher in the Antichrist. That means everything that's bad, they're gonna put a black face on so y'all accept it. I'm telling y'all. And then when you don't accept it, they're gonna call you racist. You see how masterful the plan is? You see how clever Satan is? Satan says, I'm going to use black people to do something, and if you go against it, they're going to call you racist. You're going to get canceled. Masterful plan. Masterful. Listen, y'all. I love y'all, and I will be back on Wednesday. Thank y'all for tuning in today. I thank y'all so much. I will see y'all on Wednesday. Hold on, what's Wednesday, the 1st? Wednesday, yes, Wednesday. Listen, I love y'all, and I'll see y'all soon. Thank y'all so much.